Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 Ford Mustang Mach E GT Rally. This model has a starting MSRP right around $58,000, and it's also finished off in grabber yellow, which is a really bold color for this SUV. Now this is Ford's fully electric SUV. It's powered by a 91 kilowatt lithium ion battery pack along with dual motors paired to a single speed transmission. It pumps out up to 480 horsepower, 700 pound-feet of torque. Now, as the battery diminishes, those horsepower and torque numbers will also go down slightly as well. That power, though, is sent through the all-wheel drive system, propelling this nearly 5,000-pound SUV from 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. It has a top speed of 128 miles an hour. The Rally model also has a total range of 265 miles, and that will depend on the trim level as well. And then as far as charging times go, if you use a fast charger, you can get from 10 to 80% in about 35 minutes. This also has a wheelbase of 117.5 inches. Its overall length is 187. It has a width of 74.1, a height of 64.9, and its ground clearance is actually increased for the Rally version, closer to 5.7 seconds. Now the Rally is also designed for off-road adventures, and it has a unique grille with the fog lights. So there are a lot of differences between a normal Mustang Mach E. It also provides you with more visibility on the trails while you are hitting the dirt and going off-road, so you have those fog lights as needed. Front splitter's also a little bit higher, so that gives you more clearance. And there's also aluminum underbody shielding. So that way, if you plan on taking your fully electric SUV off the road, you have some protection. Now you'll notice too, there's a really nice set of dark housings for the LEDs up front. There's also a forward-facing camera in the upper section of what we'll call the grille here, with the Pony logo right in the middle. There's also inlets on both sides in the lower section, parking sensors as well, and active grille shutters. So those portions will open up just to provide more cooling to the components up front. You'll notice too that there's also the graphics for the hood, which have a nice intricate pattern running through that with the white trim accents. And being a fully electric vehicle, there's actually storage up front. There's no button on the key fob or release on the outside of the vehicle, so you do have to open it up like you would a hood, and then you can see there's a little bit of storage there for any items that you would like to place. It would be nice to see some kind of release on the exterior, however. Now, as we work our way to the side, take a look at this color combo with the solid white wheels. This Mustang Rally Edition also gets front Brembo brakes and then a rally-tuned MagneRide suspension as well. But a really neat combo to see, very bold for this model. You'll notice Mach E Rally on the lower section of the door. There's also a camera, turn signal, and then gloss black for the side mirrors. This has a gloss black roof as well. And then as we take a step back, it has a neat design to it. I know a lot of people aren't a huge fan of this, especially with Ford sharing the Mustang name with this electric SUV, but it has a great look to it. And especially with this Rally, take a look at the size of this rear spoiler. With all the cutouts in it and the supports there, it's finished off in matte black. So we have the gloss black and the matte black accents up top. And then in back, there's the wiper blade, the sequential design for the turn signals, which are all LED. There's the camera in the middle, along with the stripes that continue. And then there's also a backup camera, there's all the parking sensors, and then some diffusers in that lower section. Now, you can also use the button on the key fob or the button up underneath to open up this lift gate, where you have a good bit of space for this SUV. So it's practical for this vehicle. You have a 12 volt, you have some hooks here as well. You even get some storage underneath the floor where you can currently see the charging cables and then a little bit of storage. There's also some tie down hooks so you can put some items in the back, and you can also fold down these back seats. You can actually reach it from the back, so that way you can lower those and then put in some larger items as needed. There's only one button up top, and you do have the hands-free sensor, so you can use that to kick underneath to open and close this as needed. And then just push on that button and you can slowly lower that. Now, as we work our way to the interior, this is where it gets interesting. There's no actual door handle to give this body a seamless look. You simply just push on this button, the door will pop out slightly, and then from there you can grab the back side of it and open it up. Now for this interior, really nice two-tone design along with this white strip right in the middle. The release handle is actually this right here. So it's hidden on the back side of the grab handle, where there's also leather, storage underneath, and then this really neat denim-like material. And then here's a look from this angle with the back seat folded down. You can simply flip it up, lock it into place, where there's a really neat design for the inserts on these seats, almost matching the intricate pattern on the vinyl for the exterior. Now with these front seats, you have this white trim accent. There's no storage behind both front seats as far as the pockets go. Right in the middle, you have some air vents, you have some USB-Cs. That is about it. And then as far as headroom goes, at 5'10", have about half an inch to an inch or so. I can sit upright and be comfortable, so it is pretty spacious for an SUV here. And then you have the cup holders with the armrest right in the middle. You also have a good bit of visibility. There's a small cargo window right there, so at least you can see out of. But for an SUV, it's what you'd expect as far as being able to put passengers in the back. Now for the driver door, you'll notice that we have the keypad there. Same control to open the door, but we have the handle here. So you can just push on that button and then grab this, which I believe is an aerodynamic element too, but also the grab handle. And then the door panel is just like in the back. Now this also has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. There's memory seating adjustments, your side mirrors, window controls, same release there. And then there's the automatic front seats that have some more bolster support to them. There's also Mach E Rally in the headrest too. So really nice design. All the adjustments are down on the side for those power operations. Now as we hop in, we have the leather steering wheel, and let's start this up. So you're not going to hear it. It'll just show you ready on the lower section there, and you are good to go. Now on this left side, there's all the cruise control settings along with your distance pacing. This model is also equipped with Blue Cruise, which will only work out on the highway. There's also the sensor here to monitor your face, make sure you are paying attention, but the Blue Cruise is really nice. You can actually change lanes using the turn signal, and the vehicle will do that for you. And then on the right side, we have volume along with some tuning adjustments, Bluetooth and voice commands. The gauge cluster is fixed. There's no info to go through. So you have range on the left side, you have some driving information in the middle, miles per hour, speed limit sign, what gear you're in over on the right. Now on the left of the steering wheel, there's all the headlight adjustments along with traction control, dimmer switches. There's some more of that denim-like material with one air vent. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, this is a very large screen. You'll notice in the upper section, we can push on these 6 circles, and that will bring down some of the apps here that you can go into. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you have your charging, so that way you can get into this and monitor all of that information. You can look at all of those stats. You can go through your tire pressure, you have public charging, so you can monitor that. And then owner's manual, you also have some entertainment that you can get into as well. Looks like you could play some games, you could watch this video while you're driving your Mach E and learn more about it. So cool to see all of those. Now if you push on the vehicle here, you can get into controls here. Looks like we're still trying to get into YouTube. So we can go back to controls where you have the driving modes. So there's whisper, there's also engage, and then the last one is on bridle. That's going to give you pretty much all of the power, all of the responsiveness. You have one pedal driving for all of these. There's propulsion sound. Rally Sport is also a new trim level. So you can put it into that for your off-roading and having a little bit of fun with this. So you have those 3 different driving modes. Then you have a lot of settings over on this left side to go through all of that as needed. And then you also have a shortcut to the camera system. So you can pull that up in full screen. That is the forward-facing camera at the moment. And then you have a few different angles for that camera. And then you'll notice in the middle, we do have some presets that you can scroll through. So you can have all of these. If you just push on one of them, like tire pressure, it will pop up in the upper screen. So you can set those favorites and have those appear. In the lower section, this has heated seats, heated steering wheel. You have your temperature adjustments. When you push on those too, you can actually change this rotary dial so it is now the temperature. And then once it backs out of the temperature, it defaults back to volume. So you have volume, and you can also turn it on and off in the center there. And then you have some defrosters where you'd like the air to go. Pretty easy system to go through, so it's not all that confusing. Now you do get wireless charging down below. There's also some auxiliaries in the back. There's 2 cup holders. You have a parallel parking feature, hazards, and the e-brake, and then the rotary dial to go through the gears. So if I twist it once, you get the backup camera with the similar angles that you saw up front. There's also drive, a low range gear, and then park is back to the left. You do get a little bit of storage underneath the armrest. So when you open this up, you have some auxiliaries there. You can hide that away and then close the armrest. So they're not connected, but you could even put some items underneath like you just saw I had. And then there's plenty of room in the glove box there. You get more of that pattern with air vents. There's the rear view mirror. You also get a sunglass holder, so I guess I could have put them up there. And then you have dome lights underneath that. And then here's a look at visibility. With its exterior design, you still have a good bit of visibility over that right side. And then over this left shoulder too, you can still see out of that back window. So it's pretty easy to see all around. As we set off now behind the wheel for the Mustang Mach E, this is only the second Mach E that I've ever driven. I drove a base one several years ago when they were first introduced. Now we're in pretty much the top trim level with this rally version. This is something that I think would be really cool to be able to take off-road and see the capabilities. Now it's not really like an off-roader in the type of like rock crawling, things like that. This is something that is going to give you a lot of power in basically the dirt. So a lot of flat ground, maybe some articulations. It's not a slow speed rock crawler. This is going to be a really cool rally style SUV to take off the road. And with the suspension that this has, I feel like it's going to do very well off the pavement. It is super smooth on road, so it's going to give you probably the suspension that you're looking for if you choose to take this off the pavement. Now, a few things I haven't done yet. I've been waiting for the test drive to get my reactions. Put it in on bridle and give it an acceleration from a standstill. So when we get to this straight portion in the road here, let's see what this is like. Now, it's not 100% charged, so we're not going to get the full specs that I mentioned earlier, but we'll still get a good acceleration. So here we go. Oh, wow. We got a little bit of wheel spin there, which is surprising because the tires on this thing are pretty knobby. So they're going to grip, especially in the dirt. And one thing that I am surprised with this Mustang is how good this actually handles. For its weight and its size, the handling and steering is phenomenal. And I'm on a pretty twisty road here to really test the handling of this Mach E. I mean, for an SUV, it carries its weight extremely well. And what's really cool about EVs is that you get that instant torque. So even at speed, you give it an acceleration and you are going to have that power. Now, let's turn off the propulsion sound. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear a difference on camera, but that's just nothing. It's almost like wind noise. Hopefully you can hear a difference there. So you can make this a little bit more performance oriented with that speaker sound basically to give you a little bit of that exhaust. All right, so let's talk about what this has been like to drive. Just being a full EV, it's basically like every other EV in terms of being really quiet. There's a little bit of road noise, maybe from the tires, maybe just from this road that I'm on. It's not the most, it's not the smoothest road out here. But in terms of just driving it, this is something that would make for a great daily driver. To me, EV cars are more city type vehicles. We have about 265 or so miles for this model. So you could go on a trip, you just have to plan accordingly with your charge time and things like that. Being able to find chargers that work or chargers that don't have everyone lined up at them. So there's just some timing with where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and things like that. It's a really good city vehicle. If you can charge it at your house and then drive it the next day, you're good to go. So for me, it's more of a city vehicle if I were to ever buy one. I'm not really an EV type of person. I know a lot of Mustang people weren't excited to see this being a full EV because they want that V8 sound. I think the Mustang Mach E with a V8 would be a pretty cool SUV that maybe Ford should have as another alternative to give the muscle car enthusiasts an SUV that has that same vibe. But it's a nice vehicle to drive. Super smooth, very comfortable. I like the seats. Bolsters have a good support to them as well. So we are still in unbridle from a standstill. Here we go. Ooh. Wow. It is just so instant. We don't even have the full horsepower and torque with the percentage this is at right now, but it is still quite a lot and it is still very instant. So this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Ford Mustang Mach E. Definitely a really nice vehicle for its price, right around $60,000. you get an upscale interior. We have some very nice materials, but you also get a really nice drive too. If you were looking for an electric vehicle, a lot of them are going to have a pretty high price tag. There's a few that are going to be significantly less than this, but for the most part, if you want a very nice luxury focused EV, it's going to cost quite a bit. So I'd say we're kind of right in the middle with this $60,000 price tag for an electric vehicle, and one that's very capable too as far as being an SUV. So you're going to be able to put in some larger items, you know, just like any other SUV really. So you have a good bit of practicality with this, but it's also very nice that you have a good handling and performance oriented Mustang here. Basically, we have a heavy SUV, but still corners well. So it's nice that you kind of get that good blend between performance, between the EV, and then just a good all-around SUV. Super comfortable with this upgraded suspension. So I would assume it's a little bit softer than a normal Mach E. It's been a while since I've been in the base version, but I think you're going to have a little bit more softer of a suspension setup here. And as you would expect, very quiet. Aside from having the propulsion sound, it's a pretty quiet vehicle. Even with these knobbier tires, there's not really much road noise, anything like that. And as we get up to merge with traffic, I mean, it's a pretty quick vehicle, so no concerns with power output from this. But overall, it's a nice vehicle. It's been very nice to drive. I don't really have anything negative to say about it. All the materials are nice. There's a lot of tech. A little bit confusing to go through that system, but once you get used to it, you know, like anything else, you will be good to go. So other than that, it's a nice vehicle to check out. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Give it a huge thumbs up if you did, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.